the Fourth Shinobi War, the war that finally brought peace to the ninja world. Many friends, brothers, sisters were lost in the conflict, but they died knowing they are trying to make a difference. And they did make a difference. The war was won. Tobi was killed by the hands of Uzumaki Naruto and Killer Bee, the last two Jinchuriki still alive. They teamed up with their tenants and used all of their power to end his terror. On the other side of the battlefield fought the 5 Kages against the newly revived Uchiha Madara. The battle was long and taxing. Madara earned his right to be called one of the strongest ninja to have ever existed in the world alongside First Hokage. But even he couldn't stand up to the 5 Kages. The battle lasted for several hours, but in the end he was defeated and sealed forever in Gaara's Sand Fortress. Kabuto was defeated by the Uchiha brothers, Itachi and Sasuke. His goal finished, Itachi returned to the land of the dead. He gave Sasuke one final advice: to stop his quest of revenge and return to his friends and brother. Sasuke told him that that won't happen and that he will have revenge upon Konoha. He will stifle their laughter and kill them all. But first he will crush their hope, their hero, Uzumaki Naruto. On his way to face Naruto, he was confronted by his old comrades, the Rookie 11. They tried to stop him and convince him to return to Konoha. He refused and just laughed maniacally, saying, "Do you really think I could ever return to Konoha and live happily ever after with you all? The only reason I will return to that weak village is to destroy every single villager, every single ninja, every building till there is nothing left but dust." They all saw him for what he really was, all except Sakura. She still hoped that there is some light in him. She tried to persuade him, to make him see reason. She even told him that she loved him and that she would do anything for him. Sasuke's only answer was to draw his sword and activate his Sharingan. Shikamaru took charge and started ordering his friends to take battle formations. He knew they stood little chance against him without Naruto. But even though chances of victory were next to none, he will give it his all to protect his friends, his family, to protect Naruto, the village pariah who saved them all. The battle that ensued was epic, but even though Sasuke was outnumbered, he was still holding his ground and was fighting back. Shikamaru, in a desperate move, ordered his friends to attack him at the same time while Sakura attacks him from behind and uses her strength to penetrate through his Susanoo. The plan worked flawlessly till the last moment. Sasuke was focused trying to give Susanoo enough power to withstand their attack. He was too focused to notice Sakura, moving behind him and gathering all of her chakra in her fist to end his life, or at least cripple him. It all went downhill from there. Sakura stopped inches from hitting him. She just couldn't do it. Images of young Sasuke flashed before her eyes. All the moments they spent together with Team 7, all the laughter, sadness, all the battles they've won together. "I'm sorry, Naruto. I just can't do it," thought Sakura. At that moment, Sasuke noticed her and turned around and used Susanoo to try and stab her. He looked in her eyes and saw her smiling. It was a peaceful smile. She knew what was coming. Shikamaru and others tried to warn her and all started running towards her, hoping they would make it. Fate was not on their side that day. The sword from Susanoo struck Sakura through her stomach. There was no sound heard from her. She had a peaceful expression on her face, and you could see a lone tear escaping from her eye. Sasuke was unaffected by this, and with a flick from his wrist, threw her towards her friends. She was caught by Ino, who was already crying while cradling her pale and cold body. She hopelessly tried to heal here. She used all of her chakra trying to save her. She looked into Sakura's eyes and saw that this is one battle that she won't emerge victorious. Ino felt so hopeless at that moment, exactly when her sensei, Asuma, died. She couldn't do anything. The tears just wouldn't stop coming. The remaining rookies all formed a defensive circle around Sakura and Ino, all staring at Sasuke with all the hate they could muster. Sasuke just stood there impassively, acting like this is an everyday thing for him, killing his friends. "Do you still wish to fight me? My goal is Naruto and not you weaklings. You cannot hope to win against my hatred. You don't know pain like I do. You live your perfect lives, with your families and lovers. laughing all because of my family's sacrifice. Sasuke said, "Shut up, you maniac. You have no right to judge us. We were not responsible for the massacre. We were kids back then. How could we be responsible for what happened to your family?" shouted an enraged Kiba. "Kiba's right," intervened Sai. "You cannot blame the actions of your brother on the whole village and us. What happened to your family was because of your brother and no one else." "Shut up," said a shaking Sasuke. "You know nothing of what you speak of. My brother was a true ninja, a hero. He made the ultimate sacrifice. And for what? Just so that all of you could continue living in your fairy tales." Shikamaru saw that talking to him was pointless now. He was too far gone. Nothing could save him now, not even Naruto. Right now, the most important thing is to save Sakura. Every single second counts, thought Shikamaru. He turned towards Sakura and Ino and saw his longtime friend crying over. Sakura's didn't know if this meant that she is already dead or something else. While he was concentrating on Ino and Sakura, Sasuke once again activated his absolute defense and attack, Susanoo. It all happened too fast for the rookies to react. The ethereal being fired multiple arrows towards them. They couldn't do anything. Ino was too engrossed in trying to heal Sakura to even notice the danger coming upon her. There is nothing they could do. Any technique they could use to prevent the arrow from hitting took too long to activate. Shikamaru closed his eyes and smiled to himself. So this is it, huh? Dying at the hands of my one-time friend. What a troublesome way to go, thought a smiling Shikamaru. Sasuke could see fear in their eyes and took pleasure in that. "This is the end for you," said Sasuke. Then something happened. The earth started to shake. The trees were shaking. In a split second, a yellow blur shot forward and deflected all of the arrows. Sasuke's eyes widened. Such speed. Who or what was that? Naruto? Impossible. No one could be that fast, not even him, said a surprised Sasuke. When the dust settled, you could see a lone figure standing before the rookies. His blue eyes slitted like a fox. He was covered in yellow chakra and had weird black markings all over his body. What power? What chakra? What is this? How did he get this strong? Is this the power of Kyuubi? Thought Sasuke. "Hello, Sasuke," said Naruto. His shroud receded. He was breathing heavily. "I'm still weak from that fight with Tobi," thought Naruto. His friends breathed and were saved. "About time you arrived," smiled sadly Niji. Naruto turned around and gave them all a reassuring smile. Shikamaru gestured towards Sakura. When Naruto turned his sight towards Sakura, his heart broke. There she was, his love, all covered in blood and barely holding on. Naruto narrowed his gaze towards Sasuke. Flux could kill Sasuke right then, and there would surely die 1,000 times over. "How low you have fallen, Sasuke," said Naruto in a sad but firm voice. "She was in the way. She brought this upon herself," said Sasuke smugly. "I can't fight him right now. I'm exhausted and I can't fight and keep them safe at the same time," thought Naruto to himself. He turned towards his friends. They were all tired and hurt. They could barely stand, let alone put up a fight against Sasuke. He made his decision. "Sasuke, leave. This is not the time and place for us to have our fight." "Not yet," said Naruto, surprising everyone present except Sasuke and Shikamaru and Ino, who was still oblivious to the outside world. "In 1 week, Naruto. In 1 week we fight. Meet me where it all started," said Sasuke while disappearing into the ground. Naruto lowered his guard and turned around to face his friends. They were happy to see him, alive and unharmed. Naruto gave them a small sad smile in return. He started moving towards Sakura. He was a few inches away from her. She was so small in his eyes, so weak, fragile. "Sakura-chan," he whispered. He got on his knees and took hold of her hand. This woke Ino. She looked up at him. "Naruto," said a crying Ino. She's. She couldn't finish that sentence. She wouldn't. "This can't be happening," she thought to herself. "Why her? It isn't fair." "It's okay, Ino," whispered Sakura. "It's okay. My time has come," croaked out Sakura. Ino's tears just wouldn't stop falling. Her best friend was dying in her arms, and there was nothing she could do. "Sakura-chan," whispered sadly Naruto. She turned towards him and gave him a small smile. Hey Baka, smiled Sakura. Naruto laughed sadly. I screwed up again, huh? I'm still a burden to you and everyone, said Sakura. Don't say that, Sakura. You were never a burden to me or everyone else. You are going to be alright, so please stop talking and let's get you some help, said an exhausted Naruto. No, this is as far as I go. My journey ends here, said Sakura. She started coughing after that and spat a small amount of blood. Everyone tensed seeing this. They all knew it. This were Sakura's final words. Ino took hold of her hand and squeezed tightly, showing her support and telling her she is there for her. Sakura recovered from here, coughing fit, and turned towards Ino. My best friend, rival. You were always there for me when I needed help. You were there for me when Sasuke left. You let me cry on your shoulders even though you were equally hurt by his departure. But you stayed strong for my sake. I thank you for everything you've done for me. You are the best friend anybody could hope to have in their life. I want you to find a man who is going to appreciate you for who you are and love you no matter what. Promise me that, Ino, said a now smiling Sakura. Ino didn't respond. She just squeezed her hand even more tightly and gave her a forced smile. That was all Sakura needed. No words were needed to be spoken. She turned her head towards Naruto, who has started crying. Naruto. He looked at her. I'm sorry, I was never a good friend to you. You were always there for me, in bad and good. You were the pillar that kept me going. You gave me hope of seeing Sasuke again. My only regret is that I couldn't return my love towards you. For that I am sorry, said Sakura. It's okay, Sakura-chan. I don't care anymore. As long as you were happy, that was enough for me, cried Naruto. Sakura smiled. Thank you, Naruto. I hope you find happiness in life. You deserve it more than anyone. Sakura turned her gaze towards the sky. It started to rain during their conversation. She could feel her strength leaving. It won't be long now. My dear friends, this is where we part way. This is my final wish to all of you. I want you all to get a family, have kids, and live a peaceful life. I also want you to look after the Baka here. God knows he needs a good ass kicking once in a while. Everyone laughed at her joke. She smiled serenely and closed her eyes. She took one last breath and whispered just loud enough so that everyone could hear her. Goodbye, said a smiling Sakura. With that, her body went limp. Ino started crying even more and embraced her body, not letting her go. Naruto lowered his head and cried silently. Everyone bowed their heads, all crying, mourning for their lost friend, comrade, family. They stayed like this for an hour. Later on, they returned to the base. Naruto carrying Sakura bridal style, Ino right beside him, holding Sakura's hand, while everyone else formed a circle around them. When they arrived at the camp, Tsunade and other Kages were already waiting for them. When Tsunade saw Sakura's body, she nodded solemnly towards the group and led them to a secluded tent. Ninjas of all villages bowed their heads and showed their respect for the fallen ninja. They laid their body inside the tent and stayed with her through the night, saying goodbye for the last time. In the morning, she was given a proper burial, while all of the army stood there and mourned for her, and all of the friends they lost. The rookies were there, giving each other support and shoulders to cry on. Naruto looked at his friends and saw what hate can do to people. He swore on his blood, on his father and mother, on his godfather, that he will end this once and for all. He turned around and started walking towards his tent to gather his equipment. Ino looked at his retreating back. Good luck, she whispered. She turned back and watched the fire. When the burial ended, the Kages proposed a celebration for all the men and women who lost their lives defending their families and friends. Everyone attended except Naruto. He was already moving towards his destiny. The rookies and Tsunade knew this and let him go. There was nothing they could do except believe in Naruto, the child of prophecy. A week passed. The day of the battle has arrived. Sasuke and Naruto stood opposite each other just like 3 years ago. Both hardened warrior, legends of their own right. This was it. Everything would be decided here. They clashed. The battle that ensued could be felt all around the world. The battle lasted for several hours. The victor was unknown. All of the rookies and their senseis in the Ichiraku couple stood by the gate of Konoha, waiting for the return of their hero. They stood there, not moving an inch for 2 days. 2 days later, a figure could be seen moving towards the gate of Konoha. The figure was walking slowly, without a care in the world, a smile plastered on his face, his hair ruffling in the wind, his blue eyes shining peacefully. His shirt was torn, his pants were barely holding on, but despite everything, he still walked towards Konoha, smiling all the way. When his friends saw him, they all ran towards him and tackled him on the ground, crying tears of happiness. He did it. He finally did it. Despite all odds, he emerged victorious, just like always in his life. He rose from a boy who tried to survive on the streets, to a man who brought peace to elemental nations. They all laughed, finally free, with no worries. Tsunade approached Naruto. His friends let him go. Tsunade smiled at him and gave him a bone-crushing hug. She let him go after a few minutes and gave him a kiss on the forehead and said, "Good job, Gaki." The rookies smiled at this show of affection. They all knew their Hokage saw Naruto as her son. They were family. They all were. A family of ninjas. They will stick by each other, forever, no matter what. Kakashi gave him his patented ice smile. Guy shouted something about youth. Kurenai, who was just about to pop, gave him the biggest smile she could muster while rubbing her stomach. Shikamaru decided to speak up and ask the question that plagued everybody's minds. "Naruto, what happened?" Naruto's smile turned into a sad one and answered, "If you all don't mind, I would rather not talk about it right now." They all understood. Even though he was lost in darkness, Sasuke was still his brother, the man who acknowledged him and became his rival in life. They couldn't imagine how painful it must have been, fighting against him knowing one of them would die. They nodded in understanding. He would tell them when he is ready. At that moment, Chuji's stomach grumbled, easing the tension that formed. They all started laughing, while Chuji just scratched his head in embarrassment. Tsunade proposed a feast to welcome the return of Hero of Konoha. They all agreed while Tsunade went to inform the village of Naruto's return. The rookies decided to catch up and went to a nearby training ground. Kakashi offered to escort Kurenai to the hospital for her checkup. She agreed and they went on their way. Guy decided to join them and was shouting youth all the way to the hospital, much to the irritation of Kakashi and Kurenai. In the evening, the whole village celebrated Naruto's return. Tsunade announced that this day will be a national holiday, for this is the day that Uzumaki Naruto brought peace to the world. The villagers and ninjas all agreed and gave a toast to their savior. Naruto was smiling the whole time. His wish was finally granted. He was acknowledged by everyone. He was no longer the demon child, but a ninja of Konoha. Present time, 2 years later, we can see a figure kneeling in front of the memorial was wearing the standard Jounin flak jacket, black A&BU pants. He had a black headband tied around his forehead. He also wore a red cloak over his figure with black flames decorating the bottom of the cloak. There was some writing written on the cloak. It said Sage. His hands were tracing over certain names. Father, Mother, Erosenin, and Sakura, whispered the figure to himself. "I miss you all. I wish you could be here with me." The figure smiled. At the same time, someone else was walking towards the memorial stone, with a bouquet in her hands. She wore a purple top and a purple skirt that went down to her thighs. She had her headband tied around her neck. That person was Yamanaka, Ino. She was smiling while walking towards the memorial stone. When she got there, she saw a figure there kneeling. She didn't know who the person was. She wasn't anyone that she recognized from the village. All she saw was a red cloak and an inscription that said, Sage. No, it can't be him. Is that Naruto? Thought Ino. She started walking towards the unknown man. The figure noticed her and turned around. Ino lost her breath. The man was definitely handsome. He had wild blonde hair, blue eyes, tan skin, and 3 whisker marks on each cheek. Wait, whiskers? Naruto, yelled Ino. She ran towards him and enveloped him in a hug. The figure, Naruto, was a bit startled and surprised at first but composed himself and returned the hug. Ino was laughing into his chest and crying tears of joy. Her friend was finally back. After 2 years, he finally came back. She realized she was still hugging him and started blushing a bit and moved away from him. She hit him over the head, yelling, "Baka, where were you? You left without saying goodbye to us. Nobody knew where you went." Naruto picked himself up from the ground and started scratching his head and laughed sheepishly. "Sorry about that. It was kinda on short notice. I was training with the toads. I needed to complete my training just like Ero-Sennin did." Ino's anger subsided a bit. "You could have at least sent us a message or something. We were worried about you, idiot," said now a bit more calm Ino. "I guess I lost track of time. Sorry," said Naruto while giving her his foxy grin. Ino let out a breath. Who could stay mad while looking at that big goofy grin of his? "Once a baka, always a baka," said a smiling Ino. "Hey, that hurt," said Naruto while pouting. Ino just laughed at his expression. Naruto joined her after a few seconds. They laughed for a few moments, just enjoying each other's company. After the laughter died down, Naruto asked her, "Who are you here for?" "Asuma-sensei and Sakura. I come by here every month to bring fresh flowers for them." Naruto nodded and made his way over to her and stood by and waited so that she finished praying. She stood after a few minutes. "I can't believe 2 years have already passed. It all seems like it happened yesterday," said Ino solemnly. Naruto nodded, and they just watched the stone in silence for a few moments. Ino finally perked up and said, "All right, that's enough of the depressing stuff. It's time for some fun. You, mister, are going to take me out for lunch, and you are going to pay." "Got it," said Ino in a tone that said she won't take no for an answer. Naruto smiled, still as bossy as ever. "Huh, Ino? That's right, and you are still an idiot," responded a smiling Ino. "Hee hee. All right, where do you want to go?" asked Naruto. "Ichiraku," shouted Ino. Naruto was surprised by her answer. He didn't know she liked ramen. "Since when do you like ramen?" asked a confused Naruto. "Since you left. I can see why you enjoyed going there every day. The ramen is great. The stand has this homey feeling, and the owners are the nicest people I know," responded Ino. Naruto smiled at her, a true happy smile. "Ino liking ramen? I've seen it all now." "Haha," laughed Naruto. Ino playfully smacked his arm and pouted. "Sorry, I couldn't help myself," responded a grinning Naruto. "All right, Ichiraku it is. Hold on, Ino. This might feel a bit weird," said Naruto. Ino didn't have time to ponder on his word. She was suddenly embraced by him, and they flashed away a second later. When she opened her eyes, she was in front of the Ichiraku stand. She didn't even realize she was still holding on to Naruto, who was smiling down at her. When she woke up from her stupor, she looked at him and saw a pair of blue orbs staring down at her. "I could lose myself in those eyes," thought Ino, who was blushing while looking up at him. Naruto saw this and smirked. Ino shook her head and turned her head away, trying to hide her blush, but to no avail. Naruto was smirking the entire time. Ino turned back and shouted, "What? You were blushing? Like what you see, Ino?" teased Naruto. Ino's response was to blush even more, but she recovered quickly and hit him over the head while yelling, "Baka?" She walked towards the stand while Naruto was trying to make sense of his surroundings. She sat down on the stool and was momentarily joined by a still grinning Naruto. She let out a breath and yelled, "Hey old man, I'm starving here." You could hear someone coming from the back, cursing something about blondes, interrupting him during his break. Naruto stood transfixed, watching the door. The door opened and out came an old man in his 50s. "Blondie, that's the 3rd time this week that you came during my break. You are killing me," said the old man while crossing his hands over his chest. Yeah, just give me 2. "Yamanaka special," said a smiling Ino. Ichiraku just grunted and turned towards the other customer. He stood there and just observed the young customer. Then something finally clicked in his mind. "Naruto?" asked Ichiraku. Naruto, in response, just unleashed his foxy grin and scratched his head. "Naruto, it really is you. My boy, you came back. Where were you? We missed you. Hold on a second. I am. Get over here. You won't believe who is here," yelled Ichiraku. You could hear someone tripping over some pots and cursing. Out of the back came a young girl. "Dad, this better be good. I was enjoying my break," said an irritated girl. Look, pointed Ichiraku towards Naruto. When Ayam saw Naruto, she shrieked in delight and jumped over the counter and enveloped Naruto in a hug. Naruto was caught by surprise and fell off the stool. They landed in an awkward position with Ayam straddling him. Ichiraku grunted. Ayam realized what happened and got up quickly and blushed a bit. Ino, who was watching and saw them in that position, felt something stirring in her stomach. She didn't know what it was. It was foreign for her. She put it out of her mind for now and just listened to the conversation. Between the three, they had a lot of catching up to do. All right, Ayam, let's give Naruto a break. He just came back. He must be tired and hungry, said Ichiraku. Sorry. All right, Naruto, what will you have? Asked a smiling Ayam. 10 Uzumaki specials, please, answered a happy Naruto. Coming right up, with that the father and daughter duo went in the back to prepare the meals for the two customers. Naruto turned towards Ino with a raised eyebrow. Yamanaka special? Yeah, I'm kinda a regular customer here, so we decided to name a dish after me, grinned Ino. Man, it seems a lot has changed around here while I was gone. I can't wait to catch up with all my friends. What have you been up to, Ino? Asked Naruto. Well, I made jounin just like the rest of the rookies. I was offered to take a team, but I declined. I took a job in the hospital. I'm the head psychiatrist. I help ninja and civilians deal with traumas and stuff like that. I still take an occasional mission so that I don't get rusty. What else? I was Tsunade's student for a year. She taught me a lot of medical techniques, and Shizen showed me some stuff about poisons. I'm thinking about learning a new element. All I have right now is my clan techniques and the stuff I learned from Tsunade and Shizun. I want to branch out a bit, to have more versatile techniques. Just in case, you know. That's great, Ino. I'm happy for you. If you need help with the element, I would be happy to give you a few pointers, said Naruto. Thanks. I'll think about it. What about you? What changed with you? You must have gotten a lot stronger, asked Ino. You certainly got handsomer, thought Ino. Well, I mastered wind, water, and lightning element. I'm Chunin level in fire and earth. In a few months I will be a master in sealing. I know some Kenjutsu. I've perfected my Taijutsu. Genjutsu skills are still non-existent. And that's pretty much it. I might have missed something, responded Naruto, pride evident in his voice. Ino was shocked. That's amazing, Naruto. You did that in just 2 years. How? You need to be a genius to learn all that. Not just a genius, a freaking super genius, responded a flabbergasted Ino. Naruto laughed a bit. Yeah, well, having a fox sealed inside you has some benefits, answered Naruto. Oh, sorry. It must feel awkward talking about Kyuubi, said Ino in an apologizing voice. Nah, it's okay. I got over all that and so did Kyuubi. He is a good friend and a better partner. We worked out our differences during the war. Once you get to know the big furball, he is kinda nice. Just don't tell anyone. He is kinda shy about that. He doesn't want his reputation to be ruined, said a grinning Naruto. Watch it, kid. I can still kick your ass, grunted Kurama. Come on, it's just Ino. She won't tell anyone. I hope. The last part was whispered so that Kurama couldn't hear him. I don't like it, but it's your ass on the line. But you certainly know how to pick him. That's one fine specimen of a woman you found there. And I've seen how you were looking at her. You can't deny you were checking her out, teased Kurama. Naruto blushed. Shut up, you oversized furball. She's just a friend. Now go back to sleep, answered a blushing and irritated Naruto. Kurama just laughed in response and fell back asleep. Ino was watching Naruto, who blacked out for a second. His eyebrow was twitching and he was blushing. I wonder what's going on with him, thought Ino. Naruto? You in there? Asked Ino, who moved closer to his face and waved her hand in front of his face. Naruto opened his eyes and saw Ino dangerously close to his face. His blush deepened. He could feel her breath against his face. It was so warm. Her eyes were beautiful, her lips so inviting. Kurama started laughing in the background. That woke Naruto up from his daydreaming. Yeah, Ino. I'm alright, stuttered Naruto. Ino was in the same situation as him. She was blushing profoundly. She didn't even realize that she was that close to his face. She quickly moved her face away from his and turned towards the counter. I was having a talk with Kyuubi. He doesn't like it when I share stuff that involve him," said Naruto, who recovered a bit from the awkward situation. "Oh, I thought you were thinking, but then I realized that it is you and that you don't think." "Ever," responded Ino in a teasing manner. Naruto grunted and pouted and said something about bossy blondes. While this was happening, Ayam was watching the two blondes conversing and saw them, blushing, and gained an evil smirk. "Teasing time," thought an excited Ayam. She walked out with their meals. "Here you go, Naruto. Dad says it's on the house." "Thanks, Ayam Nekken," said Naruto. "And Yamanaka special for your girlfriend," teased Ayam. Both blondes turned bright red at her remark. Naruto suddenly found his bowl very interesting, and so did Ino. Ayam just laughed at their expressions and went back to help her father with the cooking. They ate their meal in silence, not wanting to face each other after Ayam's teasing. When they finished their meals, Ino was going to pay for her meal, but Naruto offered to pay as a thank you for a warm welcome and a good laugh. Ino thanked him and smiled. Such a gentleman, thought Ino dreamily. "Well, it's been fun, Ino. It's time I go see Tsunade and get my beating for leaving for 2 years," said a slightly nervous Naruto. Ino laughed at his predicament. "Well, it serves you right, you big idiot." She gave him a hug and kissed him on the cheek, and then quickly ran away to hide her blush. She yelled, "Thanks for the meal. We should do it again sometime," and then she was just a blur down the street. Meanwhile, Naruto was still in ecstasy from that hug and kiss. Wait, did she just say we should do it again? Nah, I must have heard her wrong. Right? Right? Kurama was again heard laughing in the background. Naruto gained a tick mark on his forehead and clenched his fist while shouting in his mind at his laughing partner. "Damn furball. Well, I'm off to a good start. I wonder what else Konoha has in store for me." "All right, here we go. Time to get my ass kicked," said Naruto while pumping his fist into the air.